read the Quran. You should read the Quran. You should read the Quran.
All praise and thanks are due to God. We praise Him, we seek His aid, His guidance, and His assistance. We seek refuge with God from the evilness that dwells from within our souls and from the consequences of our evil deeds. Whomsoever God guides, no one can mislead this person, and whomsoever God allows to be led astray and cannot find for this person a guiding friend. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and He is alone without any partners. And I further bear witness that Muhammad ibn Abdullah, who was born in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, and about 1400 years ago, is his last prophet and messenger. O people, worship God and fear Him, and die not but in a state of total submission. And we refer to this person who does this as a Muslim, the one who's submitting to God. We're gonna start the show off again today with the reading of the Quran. We're into the Quran. We left off last week's show. This is the Dawah time show. We left off last week in Surah Al-Baqarah at the end of section 3. So I want to start off before I go into the Quran with saying we're seeking refuge with God from the evilness of the shaitan. You know, I want my intentions to be right. I want to speak solely, purely, and not of myself. So I want to say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Seek refuge with God from Satan, the rejected. And I also want to start in the name of Allah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. And so we want to go ahead and go on into the Quran with the readings, with the revelation, with the guidance, with the admonishment that Allah wants for His creation, that He wants for human beings. Okay? And we're going to go ahead and go on into it. This is Surah Al-Baqarah, and this is where they have it sectioned off. This is section 4, and this is ayat 30. And this is the Quran. This is what Allah has revealed. This is the book, the last book that God has revealed to all mankind. And in this book is straightforward truths with straightforward proofs. Okay, so we're going to start now. And recall when your Lord said to the angels, I am going to, according to my usual practice, appoint a supreme religious head in the land to convey my message to human beings and to execute my will in the universe. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there and try to elaborate on the point when God says, according to my usual practice, that I am going to appoint a supreme being, a supreme religious head in the land. Now we refer to this and take this in the way that God has already created the jinn in the land. We know that God has revealed in the Quran to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. This book is revealed to Prophet Muhammad, and Prophet Muhammad recited it to the people. And Allah, God had revealed a surah called Surah Al-Jinn. And in that surah, he revealed about the jinn, about these beings whom he has created before man in the land, in the earth. And in my prior show, one of my prior shows, I elaborated on the jinn a little bit. So if you are following me, you have seen some of my early episodes. I spoke about the jinn. Okay, so that's what he was referring to. The jinn was already here in this land, but they can see us. It's revealed in the Quran that the jinn can see us, the human beings, from a state where we can't see them. So they're like kind of invisible to us. How it's happening? I can't explain that. All I can do is give you what has been revealed in the Quran, and all I can tell you is that I believe in it because it's in this Quran, and Allah has revealed it in the Quran. So I'm going to proceed. He says, and by the way, God is talking to the angels right here. He says, I am going to, according to my usual practice, appoint a supreme head in the land to convey my message to human beings and to execute my will in the universe. This is God saying this. Who is he saying this to? Okay. They said, will you create also therein such people as will cause disorder in it and shed blood, while we already glorify you with your true praise and extol your holiness. And God said, I know that which you do not know. Okay, the they here, whom Allah is referring to, whom God is referring to, are the angels. And the angels questioned God and said, will you also create therein such people as will cause disorder in it and shed blood? So how could the angels know of this? The Muslims refer to this. The Muslims, the reciter of the Quran, the knowers of the Quran. This is a confirmation of that there was life on the earth before mankind, because the angels definitely don't shed blood. The angels definitely do not disobey God. Okay, so how do they know of shedding blood? The only way they could know of shedding blood and causing mischief in the land is if they've seen it done before, which they have with the jinn creation. They were on the earth before. They was warring with each other, and I spoke of this in the earlier show. How God appointed a supreme head, a supreme religious head over the jinn, which his name was Iblis, who later became Satan. Okay, he was the head supreme religious leader, meaning that he set things right in the earth. When he was appointed the leader, he was righteous, and then turned tyrant. Okay, so then it goes on to say in ayah 31, and he taught Adam the names, all of them. He, meaning God, taught Adam the names of all of them. Then he presented the objects of these names to the angels. God, after teaching Adam all the names of everything, because Adam knew not, he created Adam, and Adam knew nothing. So God gave Adam the knowledge of what you should call this or what you should call that. And so after doing that, the angels, then he presented the objects, these names, to the angels and said, tell me the names of these things if what you say is right. So God is posing this to the angels. Because the angels question God. They question him. They question God, you know. Will you create people therein who will shed blood like the others did? They didn't know the wisdom. So God created Adam, taught him the names of everything, and then asked the angels, questioned the angels. Now you angels, this is God talking to the angels. Now you tell me, or you name the things if what you saying is right, you know. So the angels think they know something. They question God. They think they know something. They think they could, you know, they question God. So this is a big thing. So God challenged them. Can you tell me the names of these things and what they're about? So that's the wisdom God used on the angels. The angels are not disobeying God. They're going along with the program, but they question his wisdom. Question him. Why would you? They questioned him before he created Adam, another human species, but they knew not what God, of course they don't know, but God does this. This is the ways of God. God is letting you know. He will give you a situation. He will give you the wisdom. He will put the ball on your side of the court. He'll hit the ball to you and wait for you to return it, so to speak, you know, with your answer. If you know, then tell me. Okay, so that's the use of wisdom that God used. And God uses that wisdom all through this Quran when he poses things to mankind. Oh, you know, oh, you think you know better than me or something? Which God knows that they don't. God created them, so he's, well, answer this. Tell me the names. When they couldn't do it, so they submitted. They like, oh, okay. They submitted, and they couldn't tell the names of what God was just challenging them to do. So I like to stress that point. So the angels said, they said, this is Ayah 32, glory be to you, God. They submitted. We have no knowledge except that which you have given us. This is the angels doing what I just explained. You indeed, only you, are the all-knowing, the all-wise. So they submitted. They bowed down. Okay. Then it goes on to say, he said, Adam, tell them, the angels, their names. Names of the objects. So when he told them their names, Adam told the angels their names. He said, did I not tell you that indeed I know the hidden realities of the heavens and of the earth? And I know what you reveal and what you conceal. So this is God reaffirming that to the angels. God gave Adam the knowledge, and he didn't give it to the angels. So he told Adam the names, and Adam told the angels the names, all that God taught him. But when God questioned the angels to tell him the names, they couldn't do it. So this is just, no, I jumped ahead, but this is just summing it all up. How God used his wisdom over the angels because they questioned God. Even named the things, and Adam could. Okay, because God gave Adam that knowledge and didn't give that knowledge to the angels. Okay, we're moving on to Ayah 34. And recall when we said to the angels, this is God. God uses the word we because it's the word we. It's like a high exalted word. Like you will find real elegant speakers or kings, you know, they're referred to we, as you know. But this is an English word, and this book was revealed in Arabic, but the English person translated it into English so that the English people could get the message. So, but when God is when it's used as we explain it is that this we, although it's referring to God in the English tongue, there are some words in English that can't even measure up to the Arabic. So how God is really saying it, you know, there is no English word that could, you know, that could explain it the way the Arabic is, because this Quran is all Arabic. So I just want to stress that. There's only one God, okay? So the English word we is used here, but this is God telling the angels. And recall when we said to the angels, make obeisance to Adam. Make obeisance to Adam. That means, you know, obey Adam and what he's about to tell them. So they obey except Iblis. Okay, this Iblis, we spoke of him. This Iblis, he's of the jinn. See, it's right here in the Quran what I talked about in my prior shows, what I've been explaining. You know, this is all happening in the paradise right now. God created Adam in the paradise. He started off in the paradise. You know, I addressed that in the prior show, but now we're into the Quran, and and I'm letting you know what's in the Quran. This is in the Quran. This is what has been revealed. All this knowledge that I've been speaking about is right here. Okay? So it says, and recall when we said to the angels, make obeisance to Adam. So the angels, so they obeyed except Iblis. Iblis is this jinn who was on the earth, who was the leader, the religious head. He was righteous up until this point. He refused stubbornly and waxed proud. And he was already one of the disbelievers. Because in his heart and mind, you know, he's looking at Adam like, you know, who is this? Why have you created this other person? And you want me to submit to this person? And this ayah is not using the word for word that Allah told the angels and the Iblis, all the hosts, to bow down, and some in other surahs in the Quran and the other ayahs in the Quran directly told the angels to bow down, but here is used as obeisance. Give obeisance to Adam. But the angels obeyed, but Iblis, he did not obey. The command here was to bow down. They use the word obeisance, but it's to bow down. We know that that God told the angels to bow down to Adam, submit to Adam. So they did, but the Iblis, he didn't. This jinn, Iblis, he did it. He refused. He disobeyed God at this point. Okay? And I spoke about this in other shows, so it's all coming into play. It's all, you know, this is, you know, I explained this before. That's how he became an open enemy to man, because God honored man over the angels and the jinn. And the jinn by commanding the angels and the jinn to give obeisance to Adam. You know? That's deep. That's profound. We have this honor. And a lot of us don't even realize this honor, but it's manifested because we're on this earth. We can't see the jinn. We don't see the angels. And we have this We running the earth. We are in charge of everything. It's all about us. We know that this is a fact, no, don't we? We know it's all about us on this earth. No one is above a human being on this earth. We control and make our own way. There's no other being that we can see is over and above us. But these other beings see us. Okay? So we do know that. But Allah, God is revealing this to us in the Quran. So we would never know this. How would we have this knowledge if God didn't give it to us? So this knowledge is in the Quran. Okay? This is what's being revealed. And this is what the Muslims roll with. That's how we know these things. It's revealed in this Quran that we believe this book is the truth. It's the truth and we believe in it. Okay? So it says, and we said to Adam, O Adam, dwell you and your wife in this garden. This garden in paradise. Like I said, God refers to the paradise as the garden also. And eat freely and plentifully from it as you will. But you shall not go near this tree. Evil, lest you should be the unjust. God gave a command to Adam and Eve not to go near this tree. And this story right here, the creation of Adam, it goes into a little more depth in other surahs. God speaks about it at different times and different revelations in the book, in the Quran. But in this instance, it's the story. You know, he's letting you know. But it's gonna talk about the creation of Adam and Eve and other, maybe I think 2 or 3 more times, maybe 2 more times throughout the book. Okay, so because it's going to even let you know that God took the left rib, one of Adam's left rib. He took one of Adam's left rib and created Eve out of that left rib. But it's not going into that. It's not explaining that aspect right here in this ayah. It's just giving a, you know. And this Quran, it was revealed in different times, but always in the month of Ramadan. So this ayah right here wasn't necessarily one of the first ones revealed, but the Muslims compiled it like this. It's compiled like this. But this revelation is not necessarily one of the first ones in the Quran. You might have a revelation, you might have a surah called Maryam, about the story of Jesus, you know, or you know, Surah Ma'idah about the table. And but the way it's compiled in the Quran, Maryam or Ma'idah may fall before Maryam's surah, but it could have been revealed before that. But the Muslims compiled all these revelations into one book. The revelation was coming, but the book actually was not compiled until the third caliph, the third Muslim leader. And I haven't explained that to you. I haven't talked about the caliphate, after the death of Prophet Muhammad, you know, the next ruler under him who led the Muslims after Prophet Muhammad. And then one was who was Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him. Then the next one was Umar, may Allah be pleased with him. The next one was Uthman. During the reign of Uthman, may Allah be pleased with him, they compiled the Quran, okay? So I just want to stress that point, that this passage here, this ayat, you know, it may or may not have been revealed in the order that we're getting it, the compilation in the Quran, okay? So it's not going in a lot of depth right here about the creation of Adam and Eve. It's given a brief story. Okay, so it says, Allah commanded Adam and Eve not to go near this tree. Not to go near this tree, lest you should be of the unjust. Okay? So it says, the next ayat says, after some time, the Satan caused them both to slip from this order of not going near evil, the tree. It has evil in parentheses, not going near evil, the tree, and thus brought them out of the happy state which they were in. Okay? So the Satan made them do this. Who is the Satan? And how did he make them do this? I spoke about this in prior shows, how when Iblis refused to bow down to Adam, and it's going to, like I said, it goes into more depth in another relaying of this story in the Quran, where he actually asked for respite and all that, but it's not saying that here. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, the Iblis, after refusing to bow down to Adam, he became an open enemy to Adam. He asked God for respite, meaning that, okay, give me some time, even though I'm going to get punished, because I'm not going to bow down to this man, this human being you just created. Grant me one wish, grant me one prayer. Give me respite and allow me to be his test. Okay? And God granted him that respite. It says so in the Quran and later passages. And he became the evil waswas, which is the whisper. He became the evil whisperer to human beings. How he does it, how he's able to affect our thought pattern, God knows best. But God gave him that ability. And it says it took them out of the happy state. So that's how the Satan, which we call the Satan, or the Shaitan, that's why we call it the Shaitan, the evil whispers that affects our thought pattern. Any evil thought, any evil inclination a human being gets, that's called the Shaitan. So when you're out in your daily routine, your daily goings, you know, your daily activities, just living life, and you get thoughts in your mind where, you know, you don't know where they're coming from or why, you know, and some people react on them, some people don't. Some people just think it. You know, we're humans, we know what's going on in our head. We'll think an evil thought, and you'll have that choice. We can never stop the evil thoughts of the Satan, of the Shaitan. We can never stop those waswas. But we have the ability, we have the free will of to choose to do it or not to do it. He has no power over us. He only could suggest things, which is what he did right here, the first time ever in the creation of man. And what happened? Adam and Eve, we know the story. They bit the apple. They ate from the tree. They disobeyed God. And who caused them? The Satan caused them. It's right here in the book. It's right here in the Quran. It's telling you this. Okay? And it says, brought them out of the happy state in which they were in. They were in a happy state. Before Shaitan was given the respite to whisper to them, to whisper evil thoughts, they thought not evil. They never had an evil thought. It was only good thoughts. Okay? But God allowed Iblis, who became the Shaitan, the respite. He granted him that respite. Shaitan asked God for respite to be our test. He say in the Quran and later passages, I will come at them from their rights and their lefts, from their back and their forward. And I will cause them to go astray with all my might, but only your chosen ones who believe and fight these temptations will succeed. So that's the test. That's the test, man. It's right here. It's right here. It's all coming to fruition in the Quran. Everything that I spoke about in my prior shows is right here. This is the Quran. This is the life we're living. This is the truth of everything. This Quran is letting you know the truth of everything. If you don't know, this Quran will let you know what life is about, what's expected of you, why you were created, and what's expected of you after you was created. You know, why do you have life? Why will you die? You know, it's all here. It's all here in this Quran. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Okay, so they were in a happy state, and so it says, and we said to them, this is God, go forth. Some of you are enemies of others, and for you there is a sojourn in the land and a provision for a time. Okay, so this passage here is not going into depth like other passages later in the Quran, but it's letting you know they disobeyed God. The Shaitan made them slip, caused them both to slip, and they ate from the tree. Because we know they had to have gotten a thought. They got an evil thought, an evil whisper that said, "Yo, Adam and Eve." You know, the Shaitan saying, go ahead and eat from the tree. Why do God not want you to eat from the tree? What's with this tree? And it made them to think and question God and to disobey God. They want to investigate and figure out why. Well, an evil thought came to them. We know later in the passage that the Shaitan made them put the thought in their head that if we eat of these apples, if we eat from this tree of knowledge, we're gonna have knowledge and we're gonna be able to think differently. We're gonna have some knowledge that God don't want us to have. This is what the Shaitan whispered to them. They got the thought and they rolled with it. You know, which is what we do. You know, we'll get an evil thought and some of us roll with it. You know, we investigate. We want to get down to nitty gritty. Some people roll off every thought they get. Some people do, man. Whether good or bad, they want to invest it. The thought came to their head. Oh, man, what's up? You know, they go get down to the nitty gritty of it and experience it. You have some real thrill seekers out here on this earth, you know? Real thrill seekers. You see a lot of stuff out here, man. But this is the book, man. This is the book. It's letting you know the origin of all things. Okay? So God is saying, go forth. He kicked them out of the paradise, down to the earth. The Christians believe this, the Jews believe this, the Christians believe this, and the Muslims believe this. This story was handed down. The Jews have this story of Adam and Eve. The Christians have this story of Adam and Eve, and the Muslims definitely have this story of Adam and Eve. Okay? But it's right here in the Quran for us. It hasn't been changed. Right here. So we had to come down to the earth. And God says, some of us are enemies to others. Some of us are enemies to others. This evil thought that's in our head, you know. You know, we dealing with a lot. God, this Shaitan is a big test for us. So we're kicked out. He's the reason why we got kicked out. Now we must come down to this earth, fight this evil fight. We're fighting the Shaitan, which the Shaitan is lodged inside of us. These evil thoughts, these evil whispers. So we came down to the earth to fight ourselves. In actuality, we're fighting ourselves. We're battling ourselves. Nothing but ourselves got us kicked out because the Shaitan came to us in our whisper and made us and whispered some things, and we rolled with it. Adam and Eve could have said no. God told us not to eat this, and we're not. They would have stayed in the paradise. But this overpowering influence made them to eat it. That thought came to their head and they ate it. So they came out to the earth to work it out. To work it out. So we're actually in battle. You know, no one can make you do anything. You have the choice of free will. Shaitan can only whisper things to us. We, the man, have power over Shaitan. You know what I'm saying? All he can do is suggest things. So you see everything. You know, you got to think deep, and it's all in this Quran. You can only get this from the Quran. God made the Adam. He made the angels bow down to Adam. He made the Iblis bow down to Adam. The angels submitted. So where are the angels in all of this? Where are they? They submitted to the man. I spoke about this in prior shows. They are with you too. You have angels appointed with you, and they will protect you on the command of God. You have angels with you, you know? And I talked about this in prior shows. Some of them, they pray for you. Some of them, they protect you. If it's not your appointed term, you're gonna get by through this. You're gonna maneuver and be able to do things in the earth. You're gonna be able to maneuver and do things in the earth until your appointed term. So they are working for you in ways you can see not, because they are not your enemies. They, the angels, love you. They submitted to you. God put you over them. So they work for you, whether you know it or not, whether you can see them or not. You know, they are honoring you. And you really get the highest honor. The angels really honor you when you are a righteous person and you are doing righteous deeds. You know, they really can work them down to the earth, work it out. We're here now. This is the acknowledging of our essence, of mankind's essence right here. This is a great acknowledgement right here that God has revealed to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to relate to the people so that people can understand the origin of man, the origin of everything. God is letting us know this story has never been changed. The origin of everything so that you can have an understanding. A lot of us, we don't have this understanding. You know, we just out here living. We just rolling with the punches. You know, we rolling with what we see, this modern, so-called modernized civilization way of living, where, you know, where they try to take God out of the picture. People these days, they don't really think about God. They may think about God, but they're not seeking to understand. Maybe they do seek to understand, but, you know, the ways of this society, the ways of the world now is about man. You know what I mean? It's all about man. You know, what man wants to do, you know, what man wants to accomplish here on earth. Okay? But people do think of God, but a lot of people, and the establishment, they want to take God out of the picture. You know, in this modern society here, you know, that you know and I know. So that's the way it is. So you must seek the guidance. It's here. Always have been, always will be here. It's up to you, the person, to want to know their true calling, you know, what they are really created for, you know. And we know that it's worship. God says, make the proclamation that he only created jinn and men so that we worship him. Jinn, men, and the angels, all the beings, only that we worship him. And that's the reason why you were created, to worship God, to give praise and thanks to God. Talked about this in my prior shows, you know. So, and that's what this show here is about, the Dawah Time show. You know, I'm here, I'm giving the Dawah. I'm trying to paint the picture of our purpose, you know, as human beings. I'm extolling God. I'm not giving God back anything. God already has it. You can't take anything from God. All I want to try to do is bring the knowledge to people who don't know, you know, so that you won't be confused, so that you can do yourself some good by knowing the truth and worshiping God. And I'm hoping to get a big reward from God. Now, you know, I want a reward from God. I don't need a reward from you. I don't need people to, you know, I'm not asking anything from people. I don't need anything from you. You can't do anything for me. You know, you cannot help me. God, only God can help me. Only God can give me this eternal life in paradise, man. Because we have eternal life. You either going to heaven, or to the paradise, or to the hell. So I know, me, Akhee Salam, I know that a human being can do anything from you. Nothing. You know, the things that you have, that I have, that we have, is all the property of God. Whatever you have, whatever business or corporation you're running, it's all God's. You know, everything on this earth is God's. We're just enjoying it. We're using it, you know. We're eating the crops that he grew for us, you know. What's the essence of life? We're mending clothes from the material that he's put on the earth. The silk, you know, the wool. We're wearing the jewelry that he has put in the earth, the diamonds, the gold. These are the things that human beings revere, hold high in standard. You know, we're driving the cars, you know, the material, what the car's made out of. God put it here. The steel, the plastic, all these things, the rubber, you know, the houses made out of brick, you know, wood, all from the earth. God created it. Okay? So I'm trying to shine light on the true reality of everything. Some people think that their purpose is their career. Some people, you know, they get a little career, they go to college, or some people don't go to college, they become a musician, and they may you know, put out some songs with some messages in them, and they think that that's their purpose in life. Well, my purpose, since they had got some success, what we think what we assume is success on the earth, because we get to enjoy a huge amount of the surplus on earth, you know. So we feel a type of way about things. So they think that singing is their purpose in life. Singing, you know, to be able to give this message. That's my purpose in life, to sing. I'm put here and I'm doing what I was put here to do, to sing. Or some people think that their purpose is to be a doctor, go to school to learn medicine, to be a doctor, to heal. They think they are healing somebody. Doctors, they think that, you think God put you here, you know, so that you could think, so that you can think that you are saving someone's life or healing someone. When God created the human being, He created the human being in such a way that He heals itself. If you get a cut, that body's gonna heal itself. If you break a bone, the properties are in the bone to mend itself. If you pull it straight out, the properties are in there. The properties are in the skin to heal the wound. You gotta keep it clean. You gotta use water or whatever to keep it clean. To keep it clean. These are all God's substances on earth. Where is man in all this? How could man think that his purpose was, he was put here, his purpose was to be a doctor? That don't make sense. If you know, think about it. You know, you're not healing anyone. You're not saving anybody's life. Yeah, sure, you could stitch somebody up, stop the blood. Somebody gets shot or whatever, stop them from bleeding to death. You think that's your purpose, to save lives? If God wanted this person, God created life and death. Everyone's gonna die. No one's ever stayed here. You think you are actually saving this person's life? If it's this person's time to go, if God is calling this person and He sent the angel of death to get that soul, you think you, Mr. Doctor, can stop this from happening? You have no control. None. Okay? No control. So that's not your purpose. That's just you have went to school to learn how to practice medicine, to learn how to utilize God's creation to help a person, to put a person in the position to heal where he or she could not ordinarily do it. Like patch up a knife wound. You can stitch him up, stop that bleeding, save his life by stopping that bleeding, patching him up, and he's going to heal naturally. You know, you've learned how to do that. You know, that's good. That's good. We need doctors, though. We need doctors. You know, but all this medicine and stuff that people have created, all these pharmaceuticals, these over-the-counter drugs, you know, that's another topic. That's another show. That's another topic. I don't even want to delve into it, but some things are helpful and some things are not. But God says, He says every disease on this earth, there's a cure for every ailment, for every disease on the earth except death. God said this. So all this other stuff that doctors are doing, you know, developing all these prescription meds and all this stuff, God said it's one thing on this earth that can cure everything, any ailment. And you know what it is? It's something simple. It's called the black seed. God makes this proclamation that the black seed can cure anything. Okay? So, I just want to iterate on that. You know, our purpose is to worship. God said we created us only to worship. All right? All right, so we're coming to the end of this section. And, you know, I go off, I get a thought, and I like to elaborate on those thoughts. I think it's important. So we're going to finish on up with this section, though. I left off and said, okay, we're going to sojourn in this land for a time. Say, go forth. Some of you are enemies of others. And for you, there is a sojourn in this land and a provision for you for a time. So when God put us on this earth, everything was here. He said, you're going to sojourn in this land for a time. And it's provision already here for you, okay? Everything is already here. What did man put here? What did we put here? Nothing. God is letting you know this in the Quran. This Quran covers everything. Who can challenge this book? Who can challenge? They created themselves. They created their skeleton. You know, we're bones under this, man. We've seen the skeletons. Do you think about that? We are a skeleton under this. You know, a skeleton. That's kind of creepy. That's kind of tripped out when you think about it. We're a skeleton. We don't think about this, but we are a skeleton with bone, with muscles wrapped all around the skeleton. All these muscles, all this tissue. We can't even see it. We can't even see the Do we know that we can see the outer portion of the skeleton, but there's an inside to the skeleton also. You can break the bone and there's some stuff inside of there. It's us, you know? It's a part of us. This is who we are. You know what I mean? Do we ever think about that? So it's stuff, that's why I always say we don't even know ourselves. Can you see the inside of your skeleton bone? That's you. You're walking around with it every day. That's why your body is able to stand up. You're able to do things. This bone, this skeleton, okay? In this house with muscles. We can't see these muscles. Can you cut your muscle open and see the inside of your muscle? What's in there? Do we know? We don't even know the essence of the muscle. What's inside of it? Inside of the bones. But this is who we are. You know, we're designed with all these different parts, man. When you think about the human being, itself is a miraculous thing. You know, I don't got another thought, so but it's important, okay? And all the other ligaments and stuff that's going on with this, man. We have eyeballs. We have, you know, the eyeball, the iris in the eyeball. We have the heart. This heart is bumping. You got blood going through your veins. You know, all these things, man. We are a intricate being, man. Intricate parts. Something to think about, man. Something to think about. I'm going to finish up this section. You know, getting carried away a little bit here. But, okay, in the land submit for your son. And then, we're going to move on to ayah 37. After that, Adam received, listen. After that, after being put out of the paradise down to the earth, this is our full land with a provision for you. After that, Adam received from his Lord certain useful commandments. Okay? And God gave him a mercy. God was merciful to him. He indeed is oft returning with compassion, the ever merciful. This is God. Even after Adam disobeyed him, Adam and Eve, sent them down to the earth to sojourn for a while and gave him all the provision. He sent him some useful tools, some useful commandments, some useful guidance on his earth, because he knew nothing about the earth. But he gave him the tools and the commandments that he will need to get by. You know? And it's still here. We're standing on this Quran as this useful tool, these commandments, the guidance to get through this earth so that you know where you're going. It lets you know where you came from, the origin, what you should do while you're here, the provision and everything, useful commandments. And if you believe, you know where you're going, what's next after you die, okay? This is deep, this is good stuff, man. This is straightforward guidance, revelation, man. The Quran, man, this is no joke. This is real. God sent the mercy to him, forgave him, and said, okay, now you're going to have to sojourn in the earth. You're going to experience some good times. You're going to experience some bad times. You're going to have to work down here. You're going to have to subdue the land. You're going to sweat. You know, you're going to stress. You know what I mean? Because the shaitan is with you too. He said, put it down here, and enemies, some enemies to another. So you're going to have to deal with all this stuff. But the mercy is the guidance he sends to you. You know what I mean? That to believe in this guidance makes everything crystal clear. You know what I mean? He didn't leave you confused, which is a state that a lot of us are in if they're not guided, if they're not adhering to the commandments that God has put on this earth. You know, they're left confused and they don't know. They have their own thoughts. They have their own suggestions and their own answers. We're gonna finish on up. Okay, so but God is always here for you. You gotta seek the guidance. The guidance is here. Okay, so the next ayah says, go forth from this state, all of you, and when there comes to you a guidance from me, then those who follow my guidance, this is God saying this to Adam, go forth from this state, and when there comes to you guidance from me, those who follow my guidance shall have nothing to fear and nothing to grieve at. God sent the guidance down here. He sent guidance, man. You know, useful tools. You know, it seems like we're down here in a big state of confusion, man. Like in a big state of wondering. You know, not knowing, of uncertainty. That's what seems like the state of a human being on this earth. Like, because people like, man, I can't see God. Where is God, dude? You know what I'm saying? Where is he? Who is he? You know what I mean? But everybody believes in God. Because the question arises. So, but we can't understand. We can't understand what's really going on. So we adapt to the status quo of what we're seeing, which we know people can get away. They don't have to accept the guidance. They can create their own environment, create their own rules, you know, create their own way of life and impose it and enforce it on others if they are in a power position. Okay? But God says, those who follow my guidance shall have nothing to fear, nothing to grieve at. Bam! And that's true. If you know the guidance, if you know the truth of everything, you're not going to fear anything. You're not going to grieve anything because you have the guidance, you believe in it, you know what it's all about. You're not confused. You're not in a state of wandering. You know what's happening. You know? and you believe in God, you're fortified with belief, and you read this Quran, which builds you up, builds up your faith, builds up your belief, builds up your expectation of what's to come. You know, it builds you up, it makes you strong. And this is the last ayat of this section, and it says, and those who disbelieve. Wow. Uh-oh. First he just gave the good tidings to those who believe and accept the guidance. They should grieve or fear not. Nice. He's addressing those who don't believe. Okay. Watch out now. Here it comes. He says, and those who disbelieve and belie our messages shall be the inmates of the fire. Ooh. God put this in this book, man. He's putting it in this book. He's letting you know. There they shall abide forever. Wow. This is the Quran. This is the truth. This is the revelation from God himself. And it makes sense. It's sensible. We are some crafty humans, man. You know, if it don't make sense to us, man, you got to be, when you come to me, when you come to the humans, man, you better be making some sense. You better be able to connect those dots, man. Or we ain't gonna listen to you, man. You know we got to, you got to convince me. Where's the proof? You know, you got to prove everything to people, man. You just can't be talking, you got to have the proof. This is the proof. This is the proof. We adhere to those proofs. We want to know the proof. Okay? You got to convince me, man. And your witnesses. What's up? God knows how to appeal to his creatures. He's letting you know. Believe, disbelieve. Paradise, believe, disbelieve. Follow the guidance, misguidance, paradise, hell. Forever, forever. We are eternal beings. We are eternal beings. You know, this is the big picture to all of this. If you think it's unfair that you would live your life and die, and that you would think that that's it for you, that you will not exist anymore forever and ever and ever, you know, does that make sense to you? Do you accept that? Have you accept that as a state for you, a reality for you, that when your die is cut short, it can be cut short today, tomorrow, this year, next year, and that's it for you? You know what I'm saying? That you did what you wanted to do, and there was no, there was no atonement. It was just in vain. You better read this Quran. You better read this Quran, because it's letting you know the truth of all things. Okay, so that's the end of this section. We covered some good ground with this. Pretty good ground, man. I'm feeling good about the information, that was poured out today. We're going to go ahead and close it up. Time is getting short. But this is the Quran, man. We're going to continue next week, God willing, with the reading of the Quran. This is all I have for you now. I warmed it up before the Quran. with everything, you know. Now we're into the Quran, man, and I'm bringing it to you, man. You know, the guidance, the truth, the whip, and this is the proof, and how straightforward it is. You know, how it appeals right to you. You know, and it has to make sense to us. You know, we the humans, man. Gotta make sense. Okay, so man, just keep staying in tune, man. Keep following me, man, and I'm gonna keep trying to explain things to the best of my ability. You know, to the best of my understanding, and you know, I hope it's received well. You know, I'm like you guys, man. You know, I'm living and learning. You know, but I have accepted this Quran as the truth. This book has never been changed, and it's a powerful book. And I'm just sharing it with you guys, man, so you can see the power of it and the truth. Okay? When I came to Islam, every question I ever had was answered. You know, I was no longer confused about myself, you know, my creation, me being here, me being created, this creation being this world being created. What's this all about? It's right here, man. So we're gonna go ahead and close off. That's been my time. That's been the show today. I'm your host, Akhee Salam, and it's Dawah time.
Islam teaches worship in its purest form. Its purest form. Its purest form. It's the way that all prophets taught and John, taught and John, taught and John. They all taught to worship only Allah, only Allah, only Allah.